Coming up on the Charge on Air. UCF quietly removed the scholarship for Latin American students on campus.
How some Knights are navigating their taxes for the first time.
And the Reflection Pond's transformation into a floating classroom for the Great Naval Race.
In sports, UCF's disc golf team returns from nationals with a new ranking.
The Charge on Air starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to the Charge on Air. I'm Emily Ching.
And I'm Raine Keenan. Today is Friday, April 11th, 2025.
UCF made over $14 million during the 24-hour Day of Giving event. Starting at 10 a.m., UCF Knights gathered for the Student Union Takeover. Organizations like Forever Knights and Cybersecurity spent time informing students about the importance of donations to the university. Attendees were able to participate in scavenger hunts or by creating artworks to win awards. Forever Knights Ambassador Julia Saldarara is a 4-year Knights Ambassador. She says if the university only used tuition from students, it would run out of money by October.
So we really do rely on gifting donations to things like that, so we can continue to have all these activities and opportunities that UCF has to offer.
Students wrapped up the takeover of the day for incentive hours.
As UCF faces a Florida Doge audit, it quietly suspended a scholarship intended for international Knights. This suspension has left some students saying they will need to find alternative funding. The scholarship itself was called the Latin American Caribbean Scholarship, which will no longer be an option for the spring 2026 semester. The announcement was not made publicly by the administration, but rather an email informing students that they will no longer receive the aid of this scholarship. Axel Oleskovich is a sophomore in media production who relied on the scholarship and says he is uncertain about his future at UCF.
Where can I be studying? Where am I going to be able to continue my studies and continue my dream of studying here at the U.S.? And if not, probably go back to my home country and study there.
The Charge reached out to UCF Global and they recommended students affected by this seek alternative funding from UCF or private donors.
Graduation is around the corner, but some students still don't know what's next and are concerned about a tough job market. According to Forbes.com, the 2025 job market has hit a low compared to last year. Contributing factors include changing immigration laws, the rise of inflation, along with economic and policy factors. This change has some students saying they are being pushed over the edge, leaving them less hopeful. Crystal Egan is a graduating senior, and she says the job market is a bit discouraging.
Looking so good. A lot of people are discouraged. Like, I see a lot of TikToks where people are like, yeah, I've applied for like 4,000 jobs and I had so many internships and I had this GPA. And it's really discouraging as someone who's literally graduating in like a month.
However, the Bureau of Labor Statistics say that despite the massive layoffs, the job market is showing signs of hope, with new opportunities opening in fields like technology and healthcare.
April is Stress Awareness Month, and with finals on the horizon, the university is emphasizing the importance of student self-care. On Wednesday, the UCF group Conexiones held Self-Care is in the Air, where students engaged in relaxing activities like breathing exercises and drawing. Speakers were also there to highlight the importance of self-care for college students, especially during stressful periods like final exams. Speaker Edgar Acosta says students can forget that help is available.
Sometimes we tend to forget, right, that we do have access to free therapists and clinicians here on campus, and that it's right walking distance whenever you're here on campus. So I think it's good to have that reminder and let students know, like, hey, we are here, we're here to support you, and although, yes, we want you to do great in your studies, your mental health and your physical health comes first.
If you or someone you know is struggling with their mental health this month, make sure to check the Counseling and Psychological Services website for future well-being workshops and additional services.
This week, the reflection pond transformed into a floating classroom as hundreds of students took on the Great Naval Orange Race. Our reporter Manuela Salinas is right in the middle of the action. Manuela, how's it looking like out there?
Hello, Emily. Yes, I'm reflection pond where hundreds of students are racing the boats right now, and it is really our float or die situation. What matters the most is what they're learning, and I get to know why is that so important. Check it out. Oranges in the water? That can only mean one thing at UCF, the Great Naval Orange Race. This tradition brings first-year engineering students to the reflection pond where they race boats they build themselves. And this year is the biggest class yet, with 400 teams of 4 students each taking part. The race isn't just about crossing the finish line. Engineering instructor Jackie Sullivan says it's about testing whether engineering is truly the right path.
It's designed to help the students decide if engineering is what they want to pursue, because it's better to figure that out if you can in the first semester or 2 or 3 than waiting too long. And it's important that they learn about all of the disciplines because engineering has become extremely collaborative.
Professor Sullivan emphasizes that learning starts with doing, and that's exactly what the students are doing here at the reflection pond, building and testing boats designed to carry a small orange across the water. Mechanical engineering freshman Martin Marcano says that even if he doesn't win the competition, he's already gained valuable experience.
I think, in the classroom and in practice are 2 completely different things. Nothing really beats hands-on experience like this, and you can really be a whiz in the classroom, but if you can't work together with the team, then, you're lacking some skills that are extremely valuable as an engineer.
In a bold move to boost creativity, race organizers banned phone for the first time, forcing students to float their ideas, literally, with new materials. And for Marcano, the challenge has been difficult, but he says the twist is showing him what engineering truly entails. With a small orange and a splash of competition, some students are uncovering the true purpose of the class, determining whether they're ready to shape the future one boat at a time. In Orlando, the Charge on Air. We'll be here until 4:30 p.m. So in case you want to watch these boats on actions, you can still come, and there's so much time. So back to you guys at this.
Thank you, Manuela. Wow, it looks beautiful out there.
It sure does, Emily. How's it looking to you, Nolan?
Well, Emily, you're right. It is absolutely looking beautiful outside, but maybe not exactly suit weather. If we could take a look at our current conditions, it's actually getting a little warm out there. We're out there with currently it is 79 degrees here in Central Florida. Humidity is sitting at 40%, so not too bad. Winds are going to be coming from the north and southwest direction at 7 miles per hour. And a great thing about today, of course, 0% chance of rain. Perfect for building boats out there at the reflection pond.
Thanks, Nolan. Coming up, the rundown on what's happening with Trump's tariff pause.
Plus, it's tax season, and some Knights are navigating taxes for the first time. Don't leave, we'll be right back.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. One in 3 adults has prediabetes, and you could be one of them. There are usually no signs for prediabetes, so it's important to understand your risk. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed, and you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Being a cowboy, I don't know anything different from when I was 3 or 4 years old. I did tough things. I thought everybody needed to do tough things, and if you didn't, I didn't have time for it. I had a very successful career at a very young age, and life was fast. I was preparing physically. I wasn't doing anything mentally on the inside. And then I got hurt. I wanted to be better as a person, and I really dug into mental health. I start my day with 20-minute workouts. I live life 8 seconds at a time. Horses are so therapeutic. They know what you're feeling. When you're nervous, they're nervous. He won't say it back, but we're pals. I take a lot of responsibility in taking care of my kids, my family, and being there for them. You're gonna have tough days. Everybody does. Find a place to stop and just breathe. Love your mind.
Thousands of Floridians are signing a petition after a Central Florida teacher lost her job using a student's preferred name. The teacher from Satellite High School, Melissa Calhoun, did not have her contract renewed by Brevard County Public Schools. According to BPS, she referred to a student by a name other than their legal name without parental permission, which violates state law. This incident is one of the first in Florida where an educator has been let go due to this policy. Apart from the petition, this decision drove an influx of comments from students and staff in support of Calhoun, like Satellite High School's media specialist, Christine Stantic, who says there was no transparency with the situation.
No threat to safety, no malicious intent, just a teacher trying to connect with a student. And for that, her contract was not renewed, despite her strong dedication and years of service.
As of now, BPS says Calhoun will finish out her current contract, which expires in May.
Since Trump implemented tariffs a week ago, quite a few things have changed. Here's the rundown on what you missed and what's to come. According to Trump's administration, they have reversed the tariffs that caused a market meltdown, dropping country-specific tariffs down to a universal 10%. And at a cabinet meeting, President Trump said he will be extending the 90-day tariff pause, and claims he had not seen the Tuesday market sell-off. However, the White House says China tariff rates will jump to 145%, which some experts say is a cause for concern. Jerome Powell is the chairman of the Federal Reserve, and he says that with time, things will become more clear.
New policies will be on the table. They will be having the effects they're going to have on the economy, and uncertainty will decline.
As of now, the stock market has bounced back slightly, but is still down.
April 15th is the deadline to file 2024 tax returns, pay any taxes owed, or request an extension. Charge on Air reporter Ruby Merced tells us how students are navigating this process.
Taxes are mandatory financial charges that provide public essential goods and services such as roads, schools, healthcare, and law enforcement. To file taxes, you will need your W-2 form and download a 1040 from the IRS website to report income and claim deductions. Many students say they hesitate to file due to fear and confusion about tax laws, missing out on available credits and scholarships. Maria Fernandez is a UCF student. She says last year her friend's mother helped her file her first taxes, but she's doing it by herself this year.
So she helped me, and we used an outside platform to do it, but I think we did it wrong because I never got my tax return. I was just I called my bank and they couldn't help me.
Jesus Rojas is a tax and business advisor. He says errors in your Social Security and basic information is problematic and what students filing for the first time should pay attention to.
At least the first name, the middle initial, and the first last name have to match. If they don't match, they come back with an error.
I'm here at the UCF campus where several first-time filer UCF students say they are using their preferred free tax website because it's easier to navigate and it allows them to avoid lengthier processes.
Olivia Santos is a mechanical engineer major. She says this is her first time ever filing her taxes.
This is my first time filing my taxes, which is very exciting. Also very nerve-wracking, of course. And I'm not sure how I was supposed to file my taxes. So my mother, thank thankfully helped me out. And it was very interesting to see like how everything works. Definitely I had to go through certain taxing websites to like figure out how to do it, and we ended up doing it through like TurboTax and stuff like that. So it was like a very painless, simple process to do.
Jesus Rojas says that if you have several jobs and kids, you should get help.
If it's too complicated, you have too many things to do, look for somebody. If it's just a W-2, do it yourself. It's okay if you feel comfortable.
For students still filing their taxes, you can file electronically and use direct deposit to avoid delays. Do not send certified letters to the IRS because they will not receive them and it will be returned to you. In Orlando, Ruby Merced, Discharge on Air.
For more information, visit the IRS website for a step-by-step tutorial on how to file your taxes.
Coming up, we're heading into storm season, but the National Weather Service has made some recent changes that might make access storm products harder.
Plus, for the first time in 18 years, UCF is gearing up to replace the grass on the ground floor of the bounce house. Stick around and we'll be right back.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. What to do with hot coals. How to secure your chains. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
It's been beautiful outside recently.
It sure has. Let's go ahead and check in with our weather anchor, Nolan Bottomley, to see what's to come.
Thanks, Emily and Raine. You're right. It has been beautiful, but with hurricane season coming up in June, we might want to start preparing for some potential stormy skies. Something to pay attention to is a new change put in place by the National Weather Service. There's been a pause on translating storm products to languages other than English by the NWS. This is because the contract with the translation provider has ended. This follows the Trump administration's federal agency cuts. NWS spokesperson Michael Musher confirmed to the Associated Press but did not provide any other statements. According to the census data, 22% of America speaks a non-English language at home. This is about 74 million people. Storm experts warn that not being able to understand product labels can be extremely dangerous for non-English speaking people during storm season. Earth Day is coming up this month and the celebrations are already underway. Communities all around Central Florida will be hosting plenty of events to honor our planet. Tomorrow, Sanford is hosting a Love Your Mother event with eco-friendly vendors, along with Mount Dora's 13th annual Day Festival. And next weekend, Central Florida's Earth Day Festival will be celebrating 2 decades of their event. These events are a great place for students looking to learn more about our planet. If you're planning on attending any of these events, I've got you covered with what to expect for the weather outside. But before we jump into our local forecast, I'll toss it over to student meteorologist Madison Croker from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University for a look at the national forecast.
Good afternoon. We have a lot of things to talk about this weekend weather-wise. Starting with the West Coast, we have a lot of strong heat coming in, and we have a greatest chance for record high temperatures in Las Vegas and Phoenix, but that heat is going to reach all the way to Billings, Rapid City, and even Denver. But on the other side of the coast, we have a strong system moving in towards Washington, D.C., New York, Philadelphia, and Boston, and that's going to have a heavy potential of rain, especially on Saturday, with also some snow on Saturday as well, and that's going to be in the New England area. But luckily for the Southeast, we have the Masters tournament in Augusta, Georgia, and it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Today is 72 with a slight chance of storms. But Saturday and Sunday are going to be in the low 70s, beautiful and clear, perfect for a golf tournament. And that's all we have today. Back to UCF.
Thanks, Madison. Now let's jump into some Sunshine State weather, shall we? Starting off up north, we have Gainesville and Palm Coast. We got 76 and 78. Moving down to the central Florida area, Leesburg, 77. Right here, downtown Orlando, a very nice and warm 79 degrees. Gonna start Winter Haven and Tampa over here, both at 78, along with Melbourne. This is great warm weather, everybody. But be aware, the National Weather Service did issue a red flag warning for eastern and central Florida, starting at 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. As we can get to our 5-day forecast, guys, you're gonna love this weather. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Blue ties for blue skies. Absolutely great weather for the park. Saturday, high of 77, low of 58. Sunday, high of 80, low of 55. Pretty much gonna be mid to low 80s throughout the week. Some lows in the high 60s, or low 60s, excuse me. And a great thing about this is it is a 0% chance of rain projected for the week, everybody. And unfortunately, that's all I have about this gorgeous weather. So now I will bring it back to Emily and Raine at the desk.
Thanks, Nolan. Coming up, how disc golf fared against the country's top teams.
Plus, UCF is set to replace the ground of the bounce house.
We'll be right back.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Food can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Those 9 months were also 273 days of planning. What about your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. And let's not forget those barbecues you plan in detail for your family and your more vegetarian by the day best friends. That surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
But I've got a shoe.
afternoon, Knights. My name is Zion Joyner, and I'm here to give you your latest update on sports. Some rare April news from the UCF football team. There's been an update on the stadium's grass. For context, the Sports Field Management Association says football stadiums should replace their grass every 10 to 15 years. However, Associate Athletics Director Tori Forney said FBC Mortgage Stadium is switching out its grass after 18 years. Complaints of the grass's quality have been common in recent seasons among employees, managers, and media members. The change is expected to take place during the Roth Towers renovation that is expected to finish in 2026. Not many people know about UCF's Disc Golf Club, but even less know about its recent success. Charge on Air Sports Director Andrew Montana tells us about the club's recent performance and growth.
The UCF Disc Golf team just came back from its trip to Nationals in Rock Hill, South Carolina. The event took place from Wednesday, April 2nd
Great putt, Mark.
until Saturday the 5th. And under the bright lights of Winthrop University, the Knights received a collective ranking of 21st in the country. Club member Jacob Webb spoke about the experience he and the group had at Rock Hill.
Nationals was really fun. This is my 4th one in a row. We had a top 50 finish in the country, which was pretty good for us. I got 23rd in the country out of about 800. 4 days of competition, and it was my best performance I've had.
Webb added that he felt proud of how his time with the club ended in such a dominant performance as his senior year comes to a close. But some of the long-term aspirations for the club are up to its future leaders.
Now, despite the UCF Disc Golf Club's recent success, its members are still pushing for a greater future. One of those members is Katie Griffin, who, by the way, 59th in the nation's best lady disc golfers. She spoke to me about a certain topic that, it's old, rusty, dusty, and frankly belongs in the past. That topic, the absence of women in the sport of disc golf.
We definitely want to build the women's program. Right now, there is only one team, 2 of us, me and Alex, and then we have a 3rd woman that also comes out. Her name is Savannah. Unfortunately, there are teams of 2, so we weren't able to have a 2nd team this year. This is the first time in history that we have a women's team, and we want to make sure that the legacy continues.
Disc golf has been an official UCF club sport for less than 8 months, and despite the club's recent success in nationals, all eyes are focused on the long term. In Orlando, Andrew Montana, The Charge on Air.
For more information about the club, visit @UCF_disc golf on Instagram. And well, that's all the sports I have for you today. Now it's time to head back to the desk.
That's all our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. And remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our website, thechargenews.com.
And now, we'll leave you the live shot of downtown Orlando. Thanks for watching and have a great day.